So, welcome to today's webinar. Today is actually very exciting. Now, if you've been here before, welcome back, right? You already know that this is an enablement webinar where we learn more about how we can use Easy Generator, different scenarios that we're going to find when we're building training and e-learning. And if you're new to this webinar, first of all, welcome. My name is Maria, and I'm part of the onboarding team at Easy Generator. And today we're going to learn about one of our newest feature. So I was telling you that this is particularly exciting because we're going to discuss something that some of you have already thought about, that maybe it has passed like your thoughts at any point. And we're going to talk about transforming your traditional documents. With that I mean, your PDFs, the Word documents we all make, into interactive e-learning. And we're going to do that using our newest tool or newest feature in the platform, which is Doct-to-course. Hello. I love to see where all of you are joining from. We have a very international crowd, so that's very nice. Now, as I was telling you, we're essentially going to move from PDFs and Word documents onto something interactive, something engaging, something that has media on it, and it is going to be quite easy to do. So, if you've been using traditional documents, I mean, I know you've faced some of the challenges that we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about how to solve them, how we can use this tool to make the transition and that creation process easier for you. Before we get started, just a reminder that today we're going to focus on document transformation. If this is the first time you see Easy Generator and you want to get a more in-depth look at how everything works, I would highly recommend checking our onboarding sessions. If you don't know how to join an onboarding session, I'm going to pop a link for you right now. Let me just get my link over here. So essentially in here, we're going to learn more advanced techniques, right? But in our onboarding session, you're going to learn the basics. You're going to understand how to use the platform. You're going to understand how it works, how you can publish your courses, how you can create e-learning, all of that. So let's see. Getting my link. Just 1 second. Okay. And then it should be in the chat now. Let me know if you can get it. Okay, not yet. Let's see. Perfect. There you go. Also, I see some questions about the recording. As always, you're going to get that recording in your email afterwards with all the resources we're using today. So you're going to get the course, you're going to get the examples, the recording, all of it. Now, and oh, another thing, before we start, as always, we have our amazing support team in the chat. They're going to answer your questions. Feel free to ask. And now let's dive deep into the world of like traditional documents versus e-learning. So when we create traditional materials with Word documents, PDFs, PowerPoints, we're going to run into a couple of issues, right? We're going to run into a content that it could be perceived as static or maybe as passive. It is not going to contribute as much to learner engagement, and they could be difficult to access. They could be time consuming to update. We don't have the tools to get data out of them or analytics or any kind of statistics on how people are doing. Essentially, we don't know if people are actually getting the information that we're sharing with them, right? We put it out into the world, but we have no idea of knowing if people are actually understanding it. Now, most of those issues are going to be solved when we're using e-learning. Like biggest two issues or the biggest two advantages actually that you're going to find with e-learning over traditional documents are interactivity and insights. So e-learning is going to transform that static content into interactive experiences. For example, instead of having like a text-based instruction manual, you can create an engaging or interactive guide that could have quizzes, that could have scenarios, that could have some simulations, and this is going to ensure that your learners are not only going to read through the content, but are actually going to understand it, and they should be able to use that in the future. And then, of course, we have insights. This is just the information that we get out of our questions. We have analytics. This is, I think, the biggest improvement that you're going to experience when we move on to e-learning, because you are going to get insights onto progress and performance. You can track completion rates. You can track areas where people may be struggling, and then you can have some supplemental training. You can create training according to your learners' needs. So it is going to give you a lot of information for you to create better training, right? But we also have some additional benefits, which is consistency. I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes when we're working just with documents, someone's going to get an outdated version. They don't know where the updated version is, and they're just going to run with it. Not going to happen with e learning, because you're going to be in charge of sharing that most updated version. You're going to have media, which is your videos, your sounds, your um, you know, audio, any animations, right? And these are going to help you explain difficult things. Of course, we're also going to have knowledge retention, because we're going to have this active learning component. It's not the same to read something than to answer a question or to understand the scenario. So that is what we're going to achieve when we're moving on to e-learning, right? Now, let's take a look at how this happens in real life, because you can think about, all of these benefits and say, okay, this is great, but then let's take a look at an actual example. So, think about a company that provides, let's say, safety training for its employees, right? Traditionally, they use PDF manuals and documents on how they can do different things. Oh, can we see the screen? Let's see. Yep, I think we can all see the screen. Let me just close our onboarding session. All good. Now, if you can see my document, then you would see that this is a manual, right? We have information that people could follow to comply with the safety regulations, but then it is going to have low engagement. Maybe it's going to have an inconsistent understanding of the material. It is going to be difficult to track who is actually completing this and who has that information, right? It does have a couple images. It's mostly text, but then this is a regular PDF that we could follow. Now, think about this PDF turned into a course. So, this is the course that we created using the Doct-to-course feature, the one that we're going to see in just a minute. But this is a course that was created out of that structure. And as you can see, it has everything that an engaging course would have. With that, I mean, you could add additional information like videos, but then you can also turn your information into interactive points that your learners could use, right? You could also have different layouts. You could, of course, use the images that you already have in your document. You're going to have your questions. So we're going to have our nice analytics coming from here. We're going to have different options. For example, interactive images. We also have a voiceover, which I don't think you can hear. I don't really know how to turn on the audio from the webinar, but you can hear this in your course. I'm going to share this with you, so no need to worry. But yeah, you're going to see, different layouts. We're going to see engagement, because we're going to have all those interactive elements, and it's going to be way nicer than just reading through the manual in PDF. You're going to have consistency, because every employee is going to receive this same high quality training. And of course, you're going to know that they got it and that they took it, because you can track the responses for the questions. So this is what we're going to be doing today, right? This is an example of what you can do with Doc2Course. Now, all of this, actually, let's go back to my training. You're going to see the example right there. All of this doesn't mean that we have to throw all of the documents and PDFs and PowerPoints away, because we can use them to create that context to create the e-learning. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time, especially when we already have valuable content in another format. That is where Doc-to-course is going to come in. So as I was telling you, this is a tool that was designed to help you convert your documents, your PDFs, PowerPoints, even Google Docs into structured e-learning courses quickly and efficiently. Now, how is this going to do that? This is going to be an AI powered conversion, right? So Doc-to-course is going to interpret the content out of your document, and it's going to help you create that e-learning structure based on that document and also some additional questions. After that, you can modify the structure however you prefer. You can add interactive elements like quizzes or videos. You can customize the course to fit your specific needs. You can get insights out of your learners. So, this is what we're going to do. Let's jump onto the tool. If you want to, you can follow along, right? And if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Now, let's create a course together. First, let me show you the example that we're going to be using for this course. It is a regular document, right? In this case, it is about how to improve your communication skills. This is something that I think we've all experienced before. And as you can see, it has a bit of text, it has some images, but it is mostly text and instructions. Now, to get a course out of this, we're going to go to create a course and we're going to select the course builder option. And this is where we're going to be able to upload our documents. So I'm going to get my document in here and I'm simply going to upload it. And here I have my first tip for you. Because AI works specifically with text, try to have a very text heavy document, and that is going to provide the best results. There you go. We already have our document in here. You have some additional settings that you can turn on. So for example, you can add AI knowledge to the content that's already in your core, oh, I can't speak, in your document. So let's turn that on. You can also keep the same document structure, no need to worry. But if you wanted to modify this or if you have a different challenge, then you can keep that off. Let's do that today. And then we're going to answer some of our questions. So this is going to be the source of information, but the questions are going to be all about the context that you're providing to get the course structure that's aligned to your needs. The first question is, what is your course about? Now, this is the, let's say, bigger goal. This is the most important question. This could be something very simple like, oh, I want my employees to improve their communication skills, right? But my recommendation here would be to add your challenge to be specific. For example, I could say the challenge is that salespeople need to be more professional in their written oh, and oral communication to clients, right? So this is a lot more specific. From the get-go, you're going to get something that's a lot more tailored to what you need to solve. Then, who are your learners? Oh, I don't really know how to make my cursor a little bit bigger, but I'm going to try to go a little bit slower. Now we're going to onto this second question. Who are the learners? We're simply going to describe what they do. In my case, for example, that would be salespeople. And then we're going to specify the learner proficiency. So we can get entry level information, intermediate if they already know something about the topic, and you can also go for advanced information. Let's go for intermediate today, but then you can take a look at this with your own documents and you can select different levels of proficiency and let us know what you think. And the final question we're going to answer in this step is about the ideal duration for the course. So you have a quick course, which is micro learning, which is less than 5 minutes. Regular course is going to be 5 to 10 minutes. Normally, it's going to be 2 to 3 sections. And anything longer than 10 minutes or 3 sections would be an extensive course. Here, I have additional advice for you. Try to keep in mind the length of your document when selecting the duration for the course. What I mean with that is it is going to be harder to get an extensive course out of a document that's, let's say, 2 paragraphs long, right? So let's try to keep that in mind. Let's go for a regular course right now, and then we can check how to change that. Okay, I see we have a little question here about what's the difference between the 3 levels of knowledge. So Entry level or basic is going to be when your learners know nothing about the content that you're training them on, right? They have no notion of like the specific lingo that you're going to be using, that you're going to be using in that topic. They haven't heard about this before. That is going to be your basic level. Intermediate is maybe they've heard about this, maybe they know some of the lingo, but maybe they're like, missing some notions or some techniques. That is when you're going to go for intermediate. And then advanced level would be for someone that wants to like dive deeper into the topic, but they already have a wide understanding on how this is used, the normal words that are used in this topic, maybe if there's a specific lingo, so it can be a little bit more technical. That is the main difference between like the levels of knowledge that we tackled in this step. Now, let's move on to additional context, and we're setting our goals. So you see AI already started to provide suggestions for us. These are based on our document, but also on the questions that we just answered. So for example, here I'm going to select what I want my learners to be able to do after they finish the course. So maybe I want them to craft clear, concise emails. Yes, that's one of them. But then maybe I also want them to utilize active listening techniques. So I can select this too. Now, if you get your suggestions and you think that none of those are going to fit what you want to do, you can regenerate your goals. In this case, we're thinking about what learners should know to be able to achieve our goal. So let's say we want them to comprehend the role of simplicity and concise language, and we also want them to understand their audience when speaking. So now we come onto the title. You could be as, let's say, creative as you want. This could be Communication Skills 101, and it's something that I can create. But you can also use AI suggestions. Some of them are going to be about mastering the art of communication. Some of them are going to be a little bit more basic. So now you can choose the one you prefer. For example, let's go with this one, crafting clear messages and engaging dialogues in sales. That's good. Then you're going to specify your topics. So now we know why we created this training and what we need to solve with it. We're going to jump onto the topics that we're going to teach people. We have different sections here. As I was telling you, because we selected a regular course, we're going to get 2 sections. But if you want to, you can add more. You are going to get a warning saying that for your uploaded document, we do recommend 2 sections, but then you can regenerate your sections, get rid of them, or you can change this into your own section. So if you're not getting the suggestion you want, my recommendation would be get rid of this and then type in your own. For now, I think this is good. What do we think? Okay, for now, all good. So again, you have the possibility to change this at any point. This is not going to be a cage. You have total power onto, customizing any part of it. So, oh, that's fine. Now let's jump onto our topics. And the topics are going to be created based on the sections. So we have our pages right here. These are going to dive deeper into the sections. Topic. We already have 3 pages per section. If you want to, you can add more. You can always regenerate. You can always get rid of pages. But for now, I'm going to stick to this structure. And you can generate content for your pages. You can include questions onto your sections for more interactivity. The only thing that we're missing now is generating the course structure. We're going to see what we're working with, and then we can take a look at how we can make it more interactive. Okay, while we wait, if you want to pop any questions in the chat. Okay, see, we have some questions about using external content versus the documents. That is what we're going to set up in our settings. So it's actually up to us. If you turn on add additional AI knowledge, then yes, you're going to get a bigger pool of content than just your document. But if you keep that off, then your document is going to be the source of the information. Yeah, okay. Here we have it. right? Let's preview the course. It's already kind of set up for us. So this is not going to be a final course. You already have your title, your introduction, your sections. You have learning objectives for your sections too. This also saves a lot of time. And then when you come onto the pages, you're going to see we have an image that you could use as a placeholder. And then we have text that is relevant and related to your topic. As I was telling you, this is not my finished course. I would still want to go in and add maybe some videos, maybe some audio, some interactivity, additional questions. But you can think of this as creating a very personalized template with relevant content for us to make our own, right? So this is the course that we created. You can go through the content. I'm also going to share this one with you. So you can go through the content. You can check the type of content that it generated based on our document. And we also have some questions here too. So that way we have a bit of interactivity from the get-go. But then if you wanted to do something different, you can simply go onto your page and then you could maybe replace this image with another. We could maybe take a look at their stock library and look for communication, right? Maybe let's go with this one. So you can definitely customize the type of content you have in here. Or if you wanted to change your layout instead, you can simply move your image to the side. We can select our text. We can move it to here. Let's wrap that around. And then we could get rid of this. And even better, if you wanted to use, for example, audio, I can simply copy this text. You're going to go to the add narration option, and I would recommend just using text to speech to generate a voiceover out of it. So I can generate my audio. I can save that and add it onto my page. And now we're going to get a voiceover too. I would highly recommend checking how to incorporate interactivity onto these pages. For example, in this case, we have some questions that people could ask before they're writing effective emails. So maybe that's something that you could set up as a checklist like this. And that way, your learners can follow that when they're crafting those emails. But again, this is going to be up to you and how you decide to use the content that you get out of the Doc-to-course. And this is how it works, right? It is quite good. It is going to save a lot of time. We created a full-on course in, I think, 10 minutes, which is really good. And something else that I wanted to share with you is that this is our first iteration of this feature. We wanted to launch this first version to bring it to you because we know it's going to save you a lot of time, but also because we want to know what you think. We want to create based on your feedback. So we want to know what you need out of this feature. We want to know what you want to see in it. And to provide your feedback, I'm going to pop another link in the chat. Let's see. This time, this is for a type form. And you can leave feedback over there about what you think about this feature, what you would want to see in it, any kind of like recommendations or anything you would want to know about this. Just let us know in the type form. Go ahead. Yes, test it out first if you want to, and then you can let us know. Now, I do have some tips and tricks that I want to share with you about how to use this in the best way possible. Before you upload your document, make sure you have a logical structure, make sure everything's in place, use headings if you can, but also, again, use text-heavy documents. This is going to help AI generate the best possible course structure. Then, when you're generating, be as specific as you can. As I was telling you, a very good question to ask yourself is, what is the specific challenge that I want to solve with this course? It is also important to consider the course duration. So if you are, once you generate, just make sure that you keep that in mind. We're not going to be able to, what I was telling you, generate maybe an extensive course with 3 or 4 paragraphs, but you could maybe summarize that into a quick course. So just keep that in mind. And if you need additional information, you can go with the additional AI knowledge. And if you don't like AI suggestions, create your own. you can customize everything from the goals to sections to pages to any content on them. So go ahead and customize it. Then change the structure of the training. This is key. So again, adding your videos, adding your interactive points, creating more questions. That is how you're really going to get engagement. That is really how you're going to like enhance the content that we already have. And this is of course what you as an author are also going to provide a lot of value with. Now, maybe, and I want to finish this with a question that you may have at this point. So you may be thinking about what's the difference between Doc-to-course and the PowerPoint import that you already have in the platform. We have a couple of differences here, but just to tell you, the PowerPoint import is going to be a direct transfer of your slides into an e-learning format. It's not going to interpret your content, but it is going to support various like media types, for example, your text, but also your images, your video, your audio, right? Well, Doc-to-course is going to interpret your content, and based on that, it's going to suggest a more engaging format for e-learning. So instead of going with the same structure that you followed with your presentation, it is going to keep in mind how people learn online. And that's how it's going to generate your course structure. But also, you can use them together. So, for example, you could think about maybe uploading everything, all of your assets with a PowerPoint import first. Then you're going to get them all in your library. And then you can introduce them into a structure that you generate with Doc-to-course. So that way, you're going to get the best of both worlds. You're definitely going to save a lot of time, and you're also going to make use of all of the materials that you've already created, which, again, it's also going to just save you a lot of time. Now, oh, we do have a lot of questions in the chat. Let's go through some of them. So it's not going to be, this is a very, very good question about like giving advice on what you need. It's not going to be so much advice, but you can customize what it adds, right? So for example, if it doesn't have the specific section that you want it to cover, just create a title for it. And then it will learn from that title that you created for your section, and it will generate pages accordingly. If you do have suggestions about the Doc-to-course and the whole AI thing, we do have an option for you to create feedback. I'm going to share this with you in the follow-up email, but there's like a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing in every single option. And then you can let us know about something we can improve with it. Another very good question is about languages. So this is going to take the language that you're answering your questions in, right? Very, very important point. Go ahead, test it out. We do have some requirements for it here, which again, let me show you where you can find them because I know there's a lot of questions about, for example, image sizes or maybe file sizes or maximum of pages. You can find all of that here. And also you have a full on article on the green bubble. That's also where you can ask questions to our support team. So if you're ever struggling with this, go ahead, let us know, send us a message, and you're going to get someone there to support. Like, for example, Maria, who's answering your questions. Thank you so much. And again, please go ahead, leave your comments. So let me just put that action again. Let me close it. There you go. You are going to have that button in the chat. Let us know what you think about the feature we want to create based on what you need. And thank you. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. I told you it was very exciting, right? This new tool is definitely going to be a game changer for you. I really hope that you found it helpful. As always, you're going to get all of the resources from today so that you can test it out, so that you can get all that information for yourself. I hope you're excited to get started to transform your documents with this. And don't forget to try it out. Let us know your feedback. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Have a good rest of your day.